They tied her to the fence at sunset, hands bound, face bruised, legs trembling from exhaustion. The wind cut through the open prairie, lifting strands of her tangled hair like a warning. Her breaths came in shallow, painful pulls as the rough rope dug into her skin. "Leave her," one of the men said, spitting on the ground. "She's too weak, not worth another meal." Another man laughed, a cruel, sharp sound that echoed against the wooden posts. "She won't last the night. Coyotes will take her." Bootsteps faded. Dust settled. And then silence, except for the girl's ragged breathing. Amara, barely 19, closed her eyes. She had been abandoned before, but never like this. Never tied like a broken animal left to die. Her family had been gone for 3 years. She had wandered from camp to camp, from job to job, always working, always trying. But some people didn't like girls who were small, or quiet, or gentle. Some people liked breaking things that couldn't fight back. She had fainted earlier that day. No food, no water, no strength. They called her weak, useless, a burden. And now she was a shadow tied to a fence under a bleeding red sky. Her head dipped forward. Her lips cracked. Her vision blurred. She whispered a prayer, voice trembling. "Please, let me wake somewhere kinder." The prairie wind answered with a sigh. And somewhere in the distance, hooves, slow, heavy, steady. A horse stopped a few yards away. A tall man dismounted without a word. He wore a dark coat, broad hat, and eyes that held more silence than the desert night. A rifle hung from his saddle. Dust clung to his boots. He was a rancher, but not like the others. This one moved with purpose, with patience, with a heaviness that suggested loss lived inside him. His name was Lincoln Hayes, a widowed rancher, a single father, a man known for doing his work quietly and speaking even more quietly. People said he rarely smiled. People said he rarely talked. People said he had never recovered from losing his wife 4 years ago. People didn't know him. He approached the fence and crouched slowly in front of the girl. Her eyes opened halfway. Her voice cracked. "Please don't hurt me." Lincoln didn't speak. He simply reached into his coat, pulled out a small knife, and cut the rope binding her wrists. Amara fell forward into his arms before she could stop herself. He caught her gently, carefully, like she might shatter. He lifted her chin lightly, checking her eyes. They were cloudy with dehydration. Her skin hot with fever. Her lips pale. He didn't ask what happened. He didn't need to. Some truths were obvious. Some wounds told their own story. He picked her up in his arms. She weighed almost nothing. She clung weakly to his shirt, as if afraid he might drop her. Lincoln wasn't a man of many words, but something inside him tightened when he felt how cold she was, how fragile, how terrified. He set her lightly on his horse, climbed behind her, and rode toward the hills, toward his ranch that sat tucked between 2 ridges where the wind broke softly and the nights were kinder. By the time they reached his home, Amara was barely conscious. He carried her inside, pushing the door open with his shoulder. The house smelled like wood smoke leather and something warm cooking on the stove. A small voice came from the corner. "Daddy, you're home." A little girl with long dark hair ran into the room. Lily, his 8-year-old daughter. But she stopped when she saw Amara limp in her father's arms. "Daddy, who is she?" Lincoln laid the girl on the couch and covered her with a warm blanket. He wet a cloth and pressed it to her forehead. Then, in the softest voice he'd used in months, he answered, "Someone who needs help." Lily stepped closer, eyes wide with concern. "Is she dying?" Lincoln paused. No. He looked at the girl's fragile face. Not if I can help it. For hours he sat beside Amora, feeding her sips of water, cooling her skin, wiping away dirt and dried blood. Lily brought him a bowl of soup. She has to eat, she whispered. Lincoln nodded gratefully. Thank you, sweetheart. Together, father and daughter cared for the stranger until the night grew deep and the fire burned low. Around midnight, Amara stirred. Her eyes opened slowly. Her voice came weak but clear. Where am I? Lincoln leaned closer. Safe. She blinked, confused. You saved me. He didn't nod. He didn't take credit. He simply said quietly, everyone deserves a chance to live. Tears filled her eyes instantly. Not from pain, but from relief. From the first kindness she had felt in years. Over the next days, she recovered slowly. Lily stayed by her almost constantly, telling stories, drawing pictures, braiding Amara's hair. Amara learned that the house was gentle because its people were gentle. Lincoln spoke little, but he was always there. Fixing fences, repairing saddles, bringing her water before she asked, leaving warm blankets by her side. He checked her injuries with a quiet respect that made her chest ache. He treated her like a human being, like someone who mattered. One afternoon, when she was strong enough to walk a little, she followed Lily outside toward the corral. Lincoln was working on a broken gate, sleeves rolled up, muscles working beneath sun-browned skin. Amara hesitated. Lily tugged her hand. He's really nice, even if he looks scary. Lincoln glanced up at the sound of their footsteps. Amara froze. He stood slowly, nodding at her with a small, barely there softness in his eyes. How are the ribs? He asked quietly. Sore, she admitted, but better. He nodded once, his version of approval. You're stronger than they said. She blinked. What? The men who left you, his jaw tightened. They called you weak. Amara's eyes stung. She looked down. I thought maybe they were right. Lincoln stepped closer, stopping just beside her. His voice was low, steady, firm. People don't tie you up because you're weak. People tie you up because they're afraid of what you'll be if you're free. Her breath hitched. She looked up into his quiet, unwavering eyes. There was something there, something she didn't understand yet. Something that felt like belief. Lily ran ahead into the field, leaving the two of them standing quietly together. Amara whispered, Why did you help me? Lincoln looked out at the golden grass, swaying in the afternoon wind. For years, I've been trying to keep this place alive. Trying to raise Lily alone. Trying not to drown in the quiet. Then I found you. And something in me said I couldn't ride past you. Her heart trembled. Over the weeks that followed, Amara healed. Not just her injuries, but the parts of her soul she thought were gone forever. She learned to cook with Lily. To walk the pasture with Lincoln. To laugh again, softly at first, then freely. Lincoln began to speak more. Not much, just enough. Enough that she learned his silence wasn't cold. It was careful, protective, thoughtful. And every night, Amara found a little more peace. A little more warmth. A little more belonging. The girl who had been tied to a fence. The girl they had called weak. The girl left to die. Became the girl a quiet rancher made part of his home. And slowly, day by day, she became part of his heart too.